hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty. This is episode 77, joined by Colin and John. John, how are you doing tonight, mate?
Good. I think I'm just about over my cold. I've reached that stage where it's anytime I lie in a funny position or a cough, there's just like this horrible green bit of phlegm comes out. So
Nice.
I'm back to full fitness.
What sort of noises are you making? Colin likes noises, things like that, kind of like for folk chewing and sniffing and that. Colin, that do your head in as well?
Irritates the fuck out of me. Yeah,
I will.
yeah, that's on the list.
I'll try desperately not to sniff because I found myself doing that in a couple of the college calls the day. I've realised that my microphone's on and I've sniffed and went, oh, fuck's sake.
No, must when you're on the bus and somebody on the plane or the train, whatever, and somebody sitting beside you next to you going,
Oh,
tense saying like fucking hell. You got hanky with you, mate?
you mind, was it Bob Fleming on the Fast Show? So, it was like like a gardening show phrase. Hot. And he's,
Oh, was that this week? I'm mostly eating.
No, that was Jesse's diets. Bob Fleming would just he couldn't present it, but just like coughing and coughing and coughing. Then another boy that came on like a kind of co-presenter just kept shouting arse all the way through it, and then they would cut, and then they would be fine. Anyway, how you doing, Colin? I never
I'm all
asked you.
right. No, it's good to be back after a week's holiday. It was good annual leave. It's quite good on Shortbangers, so I was off last week.
Aye.
And it's Christmas. I'm on the Baileys tonight.
Oh, are you? Who was it said they got heartburn off
Christmas.
the Baileys? Was that
Me,
on
Baileys
on here?
Orange.
Oh,
Yeah,
Baileys Orange, aye.
Baileys, that's just plain Baileys. I've got a coffee one as well, but that's just plain Baileys, that one. £12 for a litre at the moment in Tesco Club Card, so...
That's it's about £3 cheaper than diesel.
Did you see the thing about Prince Charles Motor? Seemingly it runs on, he's got an Aston Martin that runs on old cheese and wine.
Has this got a punchline? Is it like
No, it was just what you were saying there about Bailey's being about £3 cheaper a litre than diesel. And I thought, oh Christ, like maybe we can convert our motors. I'd still probably rather drink Bailey's, to be fair, but
There was this is totally unrelated. Did any of you hear Off the Ball at the weekend?
no.
Aye.
So I was moaning on Twitter about Apple Podcast Player, right? No playing fucking episodes I wanted to play, and you can queue up episodes. They used to be able to queue them dead easily. Now it's like more complex, right? And it doesn't always work. So I'd finished one podcast, and the one that I was expecting to come on never came on, but Off the Ball podcast came on for the weekend. And shamelessly just tell you the joke that they told at the start. So the time Kevin introduced it was talking about the there's that poignant today because it's the 11th, but the football club's doing the marking the occasion, and he says it was none more poignant than at Tynecastle where they had kind of players of both sides laying a wreath. They marked it with a minute's silence and then a lone. What's the bugle player
Piper?
Playing the sash? It's the haunting version of the sash.
I heard that.
Aye, brilliant joke. It's just the way he set up as well, because it was all deadpan in. You sort of waiting for him just to follow it through. Just picked up with the sash. I was like, I can have a quick glad the podcast player jumped to that one. Anyway, right, let's get some time on the clock. The first question of the night was submitted by Fattest Prickus, but it wasn't actually him that asked it. It was from @leftist and it says, do you think Karl Marx was a Marxist because of his last name, or was it just a coincidence?
You do wonder whether the folk that ask these questions are being genuine or being funny.
Well, I'm sure they'd be funny with that one, but
surely. Yeah.
Can I put a special request in? See when you said there, can we put some time on the clock? Can we try and work out how you can like point to a corner or something and a wee timer appears? That must be a simple bit of editing, but it'd be really quite funny.
John, how long have you known me?
I was going to say, it's clear that he's not doing any fucking editing here.
I know, but Like, well, maybe if I go in too high with the timer in the corner, maybe he'll meet me halfway and come up with some of the images
Just
rather than
sit
putting his phone up to the
holding
screen.
a clock. All right, what we saying, Karl Marx? Coincidence?
Pure
Oh,
coincidence.
total
Do you believe in
coincidence.
coincidences? I thought we've done that before. You didn't.
Oh,
You didn't believe in coincidence.
coincidences are a thing.
Like you do believe, John,
Yeah,
doesn't he? Isn't it?
it's fate, isn't it, a thing? So, or like, it's no spooky, and then just there's a chance happening. That's what I believe. There's no like, no deliberate thing or somebody making things happen. It's just coincidences or accidents. Oh fuck! I've just lost my place now because I put my phone down.
What was the last coincidence that happened to you that you can think of?
Oh, good question.
Coincidence. That question. Because when we were talking about coincidences, you know.
I tell you, the last one, John, was I was going into Tesco on fucking Monday night, I think it was. We'd been in for a couple of days, and I thought I saw a boy again standing outside. And as I got nearer, obviously it wasn't him, but then I went in the shop and he was inside the shop. That's a coincidence, you see.
See, I would say that's a spooky coincidence.
It's just fucking just a happening, isn't it?
It's just fate. Just fate by the sounds of it.
Just fate. Just fate. TG Willis says, how old do you have to be before it's considered okay to sit at the front of the bus? And I guess it doesn't mean to drive it.
Yeah.
You mean in like the seats for the elderly and the disabled, or
no?
do you mean, like,
So I thought he meant when I
upstairs. I was thinking
upstairs right at the front seat. That's what I thought he meant. But you could be meaning the special seats. Now that you think about it,
well, special.
They're special seats.
I think probably since the age of about 16, I've had to pick and choose my seats in the bus quite carefully, because see, when I was a kid, you remember the old loading buses up the front and on the top deck, you could look down the wee sort of peephole and you could see the driver.
Yeah.
I used to love that. It's like waving at trains when they were going over bridges or whatever, try to get lorry drivers to honk their horn or whatever. But nowadays, it's usually just, even the back seat's tricky for me, like unless it's dead in the centre so you can stretch, or I can stretch my legs out down the aisle.
Because you've got big long legs, because you're like 6 foot
big
10
daddy
or
long
something.
legs,
Aye. I quite like the front seat of a bus, but it's like you either have to be dead young, I suppose, because kids get away with it. Nobody questions a kid if they sit right at the front until they're probably teens, and then it's no cool to sit there. And then there must be like an age where, see, I wouldn't give a fuck where I sat on the bus now. I'd just sit down. I'm like that with quite a lot of things in life these days.
I'm
I think.
fucking lazy to go up the stairs now. I just go downstairs. Generally,
even more so. Yeah. But just that, who gives a fuck? It's just a seat. That tends to be my approach to it now.
Aye. Grateful to get a seat.
Aye. So in your 40s, we'll say that. Right. Early 40s, early mid 40s. Right. Also for TG Willis, what's your claim to fame? Mine's initiating using the cabbage emoji for Hibs. It's quite a good shout, by the way. Claim to fame, or you've got a tenuous claim to fame, or a really, really good one?
I like to think I'm one of the people that brought the attention of Hearts saying special relationship with a cup to the mainstream on the message boards. I also made up the Julian Brellier rumour.
You did. I can verify that.
Is Rumier French for rumour?
Rumier, that was where I was going. I'm fucking just slipping into the language. It's a nightmare.
That made even news and everything, Colin.
Aye.
The
best thing was, what was the rumour?
Julian Brellier was going to sign for Hibs.
All right.
And because you used to be able to phone Top 107 and that, so I was like phoning up Top 107 and you could everything with it. It was like brilliant. And you had made it when Fair-in-law phoned me and said, "You're Julian Brellier signing for us." It's weird you hear that. Well, it's in the Daily Record, but his mate used to have the cleaning contract or something at Easter Road. He's heard it. I started then going, I made it up, but I wonder if it was actually true. Like, I started doing it myself. Like, it was a complete fucking circle.
What happened with somebody? Somebody had chucked in Islam Farouz, his name on the message board as a potential signing, just as a fucking as a wind up, and then it ended up happening.
Yeah,
Let's get a random one.
one of the admins gave me about 500,000 V buttons. Mind you used to have V buttons on Hibs.net back
Aye.
in the day, and I don't know if they still do. They gave me 500,000 for managing to land that for it to do it, because I was getting pissed off with Hearts fans for making it every time. Gary O'Connor was got to sign Tony Mowbray, was got to say they've got to sign Scott Brown, all that, and I was like, fuck. But it had to be something that was like kind of half realistic
Aye.
as well. He was maybe out of contract. I can't remember the full details. It was a long time ago, but he was out of contract and he stayed in Edinburgh. He used to live near Boozy and that. So there
Aye,
was
like
loads of because my brother-in-law was in the bank. He worked in the bank at Holyrood, and Boozy and him used to socialise with each other and that. They used to come to the bank together and all that. So I knew they were mates, and so there was loads of wee different things that you could use that made it sound credible. But
What did V buttons allow you to do? Was that like an early
You used to
cryptocurrency?
bet. Used to be betting. Aye, there was
it
betting.
was for betting. Effectively, it was cryptocurrency that had zero value in real money. And there was a prize though if you won the.
Aye,
if you had the most fee buttons at the end of the season, then you won a club shop voucher or something like that.
Aye, and that was one I went to sort of ended it because I think, oh fuck, he just gave him like 500,000 or whatever.
It was like loyalty points in HSL. That was it. Just killed it.
It was fucked. He's got to win it now because he's
worth it though. What about you, John? Claim to fame?
Fuck all that I can think of. Walking away for Ibrox one day with a couple of mates. Jean-Claude Darcheville was walking down the opposite side of the road, and I shouted, "Jean-Claude!" And he turned round, not expecting him to turn round, and I just went, "You're a cunt."
That was real life Twitter.
Real life Twitter. That's just. I was going to use like 10 years for, but I can't fucking top yours, John. Do you know when I worked for the bank, there was a lassie worked there that used to chat to out in the smoking balcony, and it turned out she was Grant Breffner's girlfriend. And it was when he was he signed for Reading. Did he sign for us from Reading?
Yep.
And I used to go on her all the time, get him to sign for the Hibs, get him to sign for the Hibs. And then she says, "Oh, he's up for talks." Like, we'll make sure he does it. And then he signed. So I was like, I'll take the credit for that. Again. So that's my tenuous one. All right, Charlie Banks says, going on from Aldo Peisenberg's newest creation, which was chicken Balmoral pie. You had one of them yet?
I need to try that. No. Are they on sale all the time? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know. He just
I'll
trial them last weekend.
I'll need to double check.
Definitely go and get some of them. Like,
fucking
on my street.
Superb.
Aye.
Superb. Aye. I preferred it, if I'm honest, preferred it to the Galatasaray pie. That would be my go-to out of the two. Although I did buy a couple each.
2 for dinner, 2 for tea.
Aye. So if you could put anything in a pie, this is Charlie's question, what would it be?
I was thinking.
Sorry, Colin, are you?
No. I was just thinking somebody said that recently, so I've been thinking about it myself. Like, it's one of these ones, but I'll let you go.
No, I was just going to say, coincidentally, I'd messaged Aldo earlier in the week to say if you could make the Aldo like a pie of your own creation, what is it you would put in it? And he was saying that he goes through different spells of liking different things. So, like maybe one week it'll be like chicken fajitas, for example, and another week it'll be cauliflower cheese with mash or whatever. And I was trying to plant a few seeds in his brain to see if he could maybe do like a chicken fajita pie, because I could imagine that would work out quite well because the peppers and onions in it would keep it quite moist, whereas the potato would dry out. And the pie casing when it was in the oven.
But the potato, they can put potato on the top though, because I've seen that before in like Fords. You get like a potato on the top with beans on it. I don't know if it's just a mince pie that's in it, like a normal Scotch pie with patties and beans on the top. But they wouldn't put it inside it; they put it on top. Well, Aldo would tell us. He's a fucking expert. I just eat them. I mean,
what I'd like to see in a pie, a poached egg, a runny poached egg. I don't know how you do that, but is it impossible though?
Well, the heat of the oven would dry it out, wouldn't it? It would harden the yolk.
But you would have said a baked Alaska would be impossible, which is ice cream that goes in the oven, isn't it? Like that's how that shouldn't work, but it does. So,
which is weirdly, I think it's something to do with the. That's something to do with the egg whites, isn't it? The protein sort of.
Because they whip them up.
Aye.
Peaks and all that shit.
So
what about like steak? Like steak with like an actual steak, proper steak, not just like steak pie.
Do you mean like a bit of fillet steak or something?
Peppercorn sauce or mushrooms maybe, but in a Diane sauce or something, you know. Like
Oh, aye.
I think we're onto something, boys. Colin.
Imagine how much that pie would cost.
Inexpensive pie though.
Aye.
Put a bit of sirloin
Aye,
in there.
but have you seen that boy in London that's over from Turkey? Salt Bay, they call him. He's doing gold leaf steaks for like $6,500 and folk are buying them. So we can just market ourselves as the pie for the connoisseur. Sell
Salt
it for
pie instead of Salt Bay.
Aye. Salt pay.
Salt pay. Or was it the hollandaise sauce you get, you know, when you do eggs Benedict?
Yeah.
If you could put that in a pie, that'd be fucking tremendous. I like eggs. Eggs one of my go-to things.
I like a poached egg, and I like the hollandaise and that, but I don't know if I fancy it in a pie.
I wonder if you could do it like the crust is a sort of blind bake kind of thing, and you add the egg like right before, like maybe in the last 5 minutes of cooking or something.
Who fucking blind bake? You get on the technical
Sorry,
terms
I've
of
been
that,
watching Bake Off.
fucking hell. So I just sit and listen to this, wonder what these fannies are going to be talking about today, and then we're in like
Because
eggs and blind bakes.
I've just watched the first 20 minutes of Bake Off there as well before I came up the stair.
Right.
Like it's pre-match preparation for coming on Shortbangers now. It was like, we're going to watch Billions because that's it on the plan. I went, I've not got an hour, so.
Is that finished now, Billions?
I've got 5 of them sitting on the planner. So.
The last season finished early. It's no concluded.
No, but the
Or
last
the rest
5
of them on?
have been on.
Oh,
I've
have
been
they?
on. Aye, so you get them on your box set.
I got shite
5.
anyway. Aye, the last.
Aye, I'm just kind of watching it now because I've got this far with it.
Aye, that's kind of where we got to it with. Right, Charlie Banks says, describe your favourite song in 5 words or less. It's a really good song. That's what I'll go for.
I think we have to guess what it is. So, is it song 2? No, it's just got as bland as. Favourite? I don't know. What's my favourite song? You got a favourite song, John?
I think so. It's one of those hard ones to answer, isn't it? Like it changes.
Off the cuff, like if you could think about the song. I don't know if this is my favourite ever song, but it is one of my favourites. Is right. So, what can you allow to say any 5 words other than the title of the song? Presumably, here is the challenge.
If you just say the name of the song, it doesn't really describe it, does it? It just gives it away.
It does. But you can say the band or the individual or whatever that sang it, I guess.
Aye, you can go with that.
Right, so Oasis B-side album title.
The Master Plan.
Aye, that's the one. That's good then. I've done well there then.
You have done well. It's a good song too. John?
I don't know if it's my favourite ever song, but aye, it's a really good one. Really do like that one.
This wouldn't give it away, but if I had to pick one song that I'd say was my favourite, I'm going to say, and describe it in 5 words, it would be music video, house, one take. And I'll share the link for it after.
Music video, house, one take.
Yep. The music video was filmed going round and round the house, and it was all done in one take, or at least it looks like it was all in one take.
Right, I take it.
It'll make sense when you watch it. You will know it. Well, I think you'll know it.
Jamiroquai?
No, but are you thinking of is it Virtual Insanity where he's on like the sort of rolling floor? I wonder if that was one take actually. But no, it's no Jamiroquai.
Former Longbangers theme tune. That'll go from our.
Good shout.
Is that Bell and Sebastian?
Aye. It's probably with the Arab strap.
Nah, so.
Did you remember when I told you what the Arab strap actually was?
Aye.
I sent you the picture. Just me.
I don't know what it is.
It's sort of like, I wouldn't call it a sex toy per se. It's maybe
like a whip.
Nah, it's something that a gentleman might wear in the bedroom. I think to maintain girth.
There you go.
So you need to have girth in the first place then.
Aye.
Right. Naked.
I've not got one. Right, Charlie again says, how many times do you reckon you go into a room and forget why you've went there in a day?
I can't remember. Like, but I mean, there's definitely a few. That once a day, anyway. I would
Aye.
say once. So once a day, is that too frequent? It happens frequently. Definitely, especially working from home now.
Aye.
There's more opportunity,
So-
isn't there?
Sometimes I'll go do something and get back to where I was initially and then realise I've forgotten what I went to do. I didn't necessarily get into the room and go, fuck did I come through here for? I'll get back and be like, oh shit, I was meant to do that. Whatever it was. That happens a lot.
It's something to do with, or it's suggested that it's something to do with passing through a doorway that triggers something in your brain.
Who suggested
To-
that?
I don't know, I can't remember. I forgot when I came in.
Did you ever done the thing when you go out, like if you've got a route you always go, right? Like your standard route, but you're going somewhere else, but you just go on autopilot and you just start driving.
I did that
Yeah.
tonight.
Did
When
you?
I was away to take Josh to his work in the city centre rather than dropping off in Kirstorfen. It was because I had Jane in the car. She goes, "What are you going this way for?" It's
Ah.
halfway along St George's Road.
Oh, they're good at that. Aye,
It's
once
like-
you're halfway along, rather
Aye.
than just it's not.
Aye, in time for me to take a turn in to get back on track. But she reminded when I did it. She says, "Mind when Josh was wee, we had him in nursery. So he used to go to a wee nursery just at Murrayfield, and Jane worked at Murrayfield at the same time. I'd picked her up for work and just drove home. She's like, we're not getting Josh tonight for the nursery. I was like, oh, aye, fuck, we better go back for a bit. Just completely forgot it, went on autopilot. I did
When I
that.
was wee, I was going to say when I was wee, we stayed in Mid Calder and my mum worked at the Dalmahoy, and I went to Mid Calder Primary School. So typically what would happen is my dad would drop me off at Mid Calder and then he'd jump back up on the A71 through to Dalmahoy, and for whatever reason this day he just went straight along the Dalmahoy, and I was sitting at the back thinking, yeah, fucker, I'm getting a day off school.
Go for a game of golf.
I'm bad for missing things when I go to Tesco, because I generally care where everything is, so I have an idea of which way around they're going to go in the shop to get everything I need. But if I see somebody that I didn't want to talk to or whatever and think, fuck, I'll go a different way. If I go a different route to the one that I started with, I'll forget whether I've missed it. Do you know, like if it was milk, for example, when I've gone, oh fuck, Big Dave's at the milk counter, I'll go and get the wipes first. Time I've got the wipes, I'm then going to get the cereal, and the milk's gone out my head altogether until I get home. Which does Jane's head in, because the amount of times I come back and go, oh, nah, I've got
Fucking
that.
send her to the shops then. There's the answer. That's the answer. Well, you fucking go the next time.
It's
That's-
maybe
that's a
because I
conversation
shop
have
in.
with Baz.
It's maybe because I shop in Lidl, but I consider myself a very functional shopper. I go in and I get exactly what I need. I'll just like whiz up and down aisles, and
Aye,
if I'm
but
out with the missus and she's pottering about and wanting to have a wee browse, like I'll just end up going ahead. Like if there's stuff on the list, like I'll
Aye.
just fucking leave you here and go.
Oh,
away and get
that's go and get what you need and fuck off again. You don't need
But
to hang
what if you
about.
see somebody you didn't want to speak to though? What happens then?
it. Do you know it's
That's
surprising
the whole
how
problem. This is what creates this for him.
I rarely bump into people in the shops. Like Matty must be social butterfly if he bumps into folk in Tesco that often. Or
No, it's maybe just Tesco because it's the same with me along here. I'm like, oh fuck.
I bump into folk I
Right
ken.
along the far end and come back. By that time they'll have went the other way.
See, last time we went abroad, right, we got to so we went to France, right? On the ferry, bumped into somebody I ken, right? So you've driven all the way, fucking doing get on the ferry, bumped into somebody I ken. You go, all right, get to France service station in France. Fucking bumped into somebody I ken. You go, how the fuck does that happen? Like I do.
I think it's because I'm the same. I think it's because we went to a really big school. for
This is
once, and
true.
we
Aye,
both worked in really big offices,
aye.
big numbers of people. I think that's why. Happens to me. I went to Ibiza and first night in Ibiza, boy, in the canteen in the all inclusive canteen bit. Ah, you Scottish? Aye. I ken you, mate. Try to work out who each other are for a few minutes. Then I went to primary school. We went to high school with us as well, a year below us. He played football. Martin Cameron. He played for.
Oh, aye. I mean, damn.
Can't remember. Like he played Bristol City or somebody, but he played up here for Arbroath or something like that. Aye, that was the first night. I was like, how the fuck we came to fucking Ibiza and you've just bumped into a boy, you can. But that's what happened. And then there was another boy for school later in the week.
Funny, yeah.
Fucking hell. It's the size of the school, must be.
That's quite a good explanation for it. I always just tell James because I'm popular. She thinks she's believed it yet.
But
How many
it
folk
must
do you
be a bit
reckon?
of both.
Maybe.
Because they would be walking the other way around the canteen to avoid you, like you
Well,
do in the
that's a good shout.
That's what I was going to say. How many folks see you in Tesco and think, oh, fuck, I'm not going to want to speak to him?
I do wonder that. I have wondered that because I thought, I wonder if they try to avoid me like I'm trying to avoid them.
Aye. I hope they do. I would have no problems with them doing it either, by the way. It's like that kind of understanding the rules. Isn't it? Like you bump into folk in the shop and you have to fucking say hello to them, and then you see them later on and you didn't say hello to them at that point. It's all right. You can maybe have a wee laugh and say hello, but you
again.
Aye, you follow
me. Stop meeting like this.
Aye. Stop meeting. But it's all right to just fucking patch them. But I would have no problem if anybody that I can listens to this, right? If anybody's daft enough that I can. If you see me in the shop and you think, oh fuck, can't be asked talking to him, I will not be offended in the slightest. I will fucking thank you for it, because I'm probably thinking, I just want. You're definitely like. Right, Charlie, so what's your favourite thing to do? A ghosty or peeling the lid off a yogurt without any yogurt remaining on the lid?
Oh, nah, ghosty. I'm bothered about the yogurt thing. Doesn't bother me if there's yogurt on it. I'll just do it with the spoon and just scrape it off.
Scrape it back in.
Aye.
What's the ghosty? We're talking about the Phantom Jobby again.
Aye.
Go and describe to me what the Phantom Jobby is again. Is that the one that escapes beyond the U-bend before you see it?
It's so when you look, like it's like nothing's happened. So you can't it has because you've pushed it out, but there's no evidence yet.
Do you think it needs to be a massive jobby or a small jobby, or like? Because I can't think of ever having a Phantom Jobby.
I don't think it's the size. I think it's the velocity that does the trick. The velocity. I think that's what. I think that must be what takes this. The momentum, go and push, and then away it goes.
Or maybe Charlie, when he's on the pot, he's squatting. He's not sat on the pot. He's squatting above it, so he gets that extra drop.
Is that Charlie of Strong Opinion Hibs?
Aye.
Charlie, I bought a couple of your episodes this week. Just so you know, on Recast. I didn't mean to buy one of them, but I bought two. So
two for the price of one.
Enjoy buy yourself a pint.
Right, here's a question. See if you do. See when you've done a shite and you care it's a decent one. Do you have a wee look?
Aye.
Everybody does that.
Aye.
Oh. Right.
I had to get the toilet snake out the other day. It was bad.
The toilet snake.
Aye, you know, got a toilet snake. It's kind of like a plunger, but it's more flexible. It'll get around the U-bend to clear any blockages you might have created.
Got a toilet brush.
Toilet brush, I've got. I've never heard that.
I've never heard that toilet snake now than I used to. I don't know what it is, but the back of the bowl seems to get marked a bit more often than it used to. I don't know if it's new.
You change your technique.
So right, I'm curious about this toilet snake, John. Where did you get this?
Oh, it was Screwfix or B&Q or something.
So fuck, I better get myself a toilet snake.
Everyone has probably blocked their toilet or has experienced a blocked toilet at some point. However, I think everyone's port of call in that scenario is to go and get a big basin or a big bucket of water to try and clear it. But when that doesn't work, there's not much else in the house that's going to clear it. And I've even, like, years and years and years ago, when I stayed in a flat in Slateford, we had to get caustic soda out. Fuck knows what I'd blocked it with. Might have just been backed up.
What are you eating?
What have you been doing?
But, so recently I had the basin out and I tried to chuck it in the pan and it wasn't for shifting it, because you chuck the water in the pan and then you give it a flush again and it starts coming back up to me and you're like, oh fuck, I need to get the toilet snake out. And the toilet snake is just basically something that you jammed in the toilet and you kind of keep poking at it until you get around the U-bend, and then it's got like a wee handle so you can turn it. And I was describing it when I went out for lunch with Raymond recently. I was saying to him that trying to get the toilet snake down the toilet and round the U-bend is like trying to get your hole with a semi. It's really, really awkward.
Worth it just for that.
Aye, we had downstairs toilet block one time. Plungers are shite, by the way, as well. Like, I think if you've ever tried to unblock anything with a plunger, it's fucking hopeless. Like, all that happens is you get like well, if you try to do it with the sink, you get some shitty water coming out the wee bit at the top, the overflow bit.
Yep.
But it doesn't do anything for the fucking blockage. Anyway, our downstairs toilet got blocked one time, and I couldn't get it. And I spoke to boy who used to work beside the HSBC who did the maintenance stuff for the building. He's like, oh, I'll give you something for it. So the next day, it was like this. It looked like when the police go knocking down the doors,
Aye.
like one of them. And this thing, like honestly, it was like a super
Destroy your toilet.
like an industrial. I swear, right. I went unblocked it the first time, but I think I caused like a small fucking tsunami in Dalgety Bay.
Fucking hangover
So
again.
I'm both flat with the pressure. It's like the whole water pressure in the area just fucking dropped for a second. Like that.
I wanted to do a
yeah.
cut scene of you describing that with sewage being released into the Thames afterwards.
There it goes.
I was mere taking me a laddie for the scheme talking about his downstairs toilet. Yeah, you hear him. Mr. Middleglass.
For this scheme. Right, that was our time up for the night. End of the first episode. That fucking flew in. For us anyway, probably not for you listening to it. You're like, that's the fucking longest 25 minutes of my fucking life. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back with another episode fucking in literally minutes. Cheers.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.